Hey, I'm Nick Boy and welcome to Pocket for Friday, the 8th of April. Today on the show, shutdowns, slick mods, and A's to your Q's. But first, here's what's been making headlines, and Nintendo has gone full Nintendo on a fan remake of The Legend of Zelda. In celebration of the 30th anniversary of the title, Scott Linenger and Mike McGee led an effort to make Link's original adventure playable in a web browser, and they succeeded. Zelda 30 Tribute, as they called it, let players fight through the game's first few dungeons for free from the comfort of their computer chairs. Unsurprisingly, Ninty came in to protect their IP and requested the game be taken down, and the devs complied. Linenger and McGee have released a statement, which now lives at the URL where their remake once stood. In it, the pair note that from the start of development, we knew this result could potentially happen. Nintendo has every right to protect their IP. No complaints from us. We had a blast working on this tribute and made some friends along the way. Big thanks to the 500,000 folks who played our game. Not to be outdone, Blizzard also got a little excited about issuing takedown notices. The World of Warcraft creator has taken action against the popular pirate servers provided by Nostalrius. The Nostalrius servers run vanilla WoW and are a way for people to venture back into the early days of Azeroth, before the many patches, updates, and expansions, though they did have a Burning Crusade server for those who wanted a slightly tainted experience. In the year since they started, the servers have garnered 800,000 registered accounts and 150,000 active players. Well, all that's about to end as the Nostalrius team received a cease and desist from Blizzard's lawyers and have been given 1 week to shut the whole thing down. The team will comply, but they've also said they'll share their source code with some anonymous members of the community and let those people decide if they want to host the vanilla game builds elsewhere. These pirate servers are like a hydra. You chop off one head and 2 more sprout up in its place. Hail vanilla! Koei Tecmo's Attack on Titan will be coming to the West on the 30th of August. Launching on PS4, Xbox One, and PC, the game will follow the story laid out in the first season of the popular Japanese anime, not the manga it's derived from. The game launched in Japan in February this year, but until today's announcement, it was unclear if the game would be translated for English-speaking audiences. And Fable Legends may still be alive! Hail vanilla! Rumors are circling that Lionhead's action game may not have gone down with the ship. In early March, Microsoft announced they had cancelled the game and heavily implied that Lionhead would be shut down once legal formalities were sorted. But MCV is reporting otherwise. According to the news site, employees at Lionhead are being quizzed by Microsoft to ascertain whether they'd like to take a redundancy package and walk, or keep working on the Fable title, presumably as part of an independent studio. However, in response to MCV's speculation, Microsoft said, "We aren't sharing additional details beyond that we have ceased development on Fable Legends and are in discussions with employees at Lionhead about our proposed closure of the studio as well." Capcom has delayed the release of their upcoming Resident Evil co-op shooter, Umbrella Corps. The team shooter was originally due to launch in May, but Capcom are holding it back until the 21st of June to allow for extra optimization time. The game will be available on PS4 and PC. Alright, now it's time for Thing of the Day. Thing of the Day. Hardware modifier Wormy has slipped a Raspberry Pi Zero inside an old Game Boy console and tweaked a classic cartridge to turn the device into an emulation powerhouse. Thing of the Day. Alright, let's ask some pockets. Our first question comes in from Natty Prime, who wants to know, will Darren ever make an appearance on Pocket? Look, Natty, I'm not gonna rule it out, but I will say that Darren is a TV megastar. He's no Shawn Ashmore who'll just slum it here in the Pocket pen with me and mine. I'll ask him, but it's most likely he'll say no and then laser me. Our next question comes in from Maiden Muse. Will you make sure to wave at the people sitting in the balconies at GG Live, i.e. me? Yes. Yes, I will. And when I do, I want you to shout out Jolene. And I don't care who you interrupt, particularly if it's Goose. Deal? Deal. Our next question comes in from AlexJA24. Does Pete or the ABC prefer we watch Pocket on iView or YouTube? Okay, so iView funds this show. iView keeps me rolling in the dosh that lets me secretly commission oil portraits of myself, and then I pretend that the Pocketeers sent them in. But they are also gracious enough to let us put the show up on YouTube as a way to make the show even more accessible. Basically, the ABC want the show to be in as many places as possible, so as many people as possible can watch it. So I would say just watch it wherever is easiest for you. Our next question comes in from Barjo Pants. Why do you wear granddad cardigans? Hashtag not a criticism, hashtag nipple. I'm gonna let Red Eye Ranger answer this one. He wears his granddad's clothes. He looks incredible. Thrift shopping for the win. Thank you, Red Eye. And Barjo, you're going down tonight at GG Live. All right, moving on. It's Freako 1. What do you guys do with all the beta and review discs you get? Okay, so there are so many games in the office, it's ridiculous. But it's not like what I think you're imagining. It's not just walls and walls of games. We just don't have that kind of space. In the well-played edit suite, there's a bookshelf of Wii U games and 3DS titles that have been sent to us for review, but that's almost the only physical copies of games we have here. In the early days of Good Game, there used to just be spindles and spindles of burnt CDs and DVDs with the name of the game just scrolled on in Texter by the PR company who sent in review copy of the code. But those days are gone, and so are the games. Nowadays, we get a fair bit of this. So this is my copy of Dark Souls 3. It's the full version of the game. It's just not in the sort of normal PS4 box. But then when you open it up, the disc doesn't have any of the art on it, and it says promo copy, not for resale. And then this is the same sort of version of that, but these are UMDs for the PSP. In fact, there's all sorts of weird shit in here. This is a review copy of Doctor Who for the DS. And then this is, for some reason, The Last Airbender on Wii. But mainly these days, we just get sent codes for Steam or the Xbox Store or PSN or Origin or Uplay or whatever. 90% of the time, we just plug in the code and it activates a copy of that game on our account. We might get the full retail version if the game is out, or access to a beta version that's on the store for testing, and all that's missing is like a day one patch or something. But then sometimes there are big games that publishers are worried about leaking, or they want to clamp down exactly who is playing them. Something like Quantum Break or Tomb Raider or Halo. You get a download key, so it puts the game on your console, and then you get an unlock key, so it activates it. Or I might need to give my gamer tag to a publisher, and they will register it to say, Nick is allowed to play this game, this is not a pirate copy, or whatever. 2K have their own system for PC, which requires a DRM app to be installed on your PC, which ties that game to that specific machine. And sometimes it gets really intense, like when Barjo and I reviewed Batman Arkham Knight, and we needed to download the full version of the game as an ISO from a server, and then install it via USB on our debug PS4, and that involves updating a lot of firmware and drivers on the debug system itself. And in that scenario, even in the actual review, there was firmware and version code running on the screen as we played. As for what happens to those games once we get them, well, they kind of just all live on our accounts that we tied them to. So my Steam library is full of pretty much all the games I've played for Pocket, and they're just mine forever. There's also a few of us in the office who share our Steam libraries with each other with family sharing, so we can play the stuff that someone else got sent. So yeah, games everywhere, but mainly hidden on hard drives. And in this box. Can I interest you in a PSP copy of V8 Supercars 3 Shootout? John? John! Our final question comes in from Pieman360. Sorry. You're part of the gag. You're part of the gag. Don't give me that look. Don't forget to pack your bags for Melbourne. Shit. Alright, that's it for today's episode of Pocket My Pocketeers. Let us know in the comments what you're playing this weekend, and while you're on the internet, check out Good Game on Facebook, YouTube, and iView. Want to meet fellow Pocketeers? Then join the Pocketeers Facebook group and Steam group. You can follow Pocket on Twitter at NickBoy, at Gareth, at GGMonkey, and at SamGee. There are links to everything I just said in the description below. Today's Thing Today graphic was made by John Sudadim. If you've made a thing, please send it in. And if you're going to Good Game Live, I look forward to seeing you in Melbourne tonight. Until Monday, NickBoy out. I need everything. John, get in the bag. There's no time. We gotta check in. John, get in the bag. I can't edit in Melbourne without you. Get in. Oh, you. This is carry on as well, not check in. Shrink, man, shrink.